Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are promising bipartisan support for more emergency aid to Israel, but there's a problem. The House of Representatives remains paralyzed, unable to do anything to help our Middle East ally until a new speaker is elected. House Republicans are huddling tonight for the first time since ousting Kevin McCarthy as Speaker last week. So far, two candidates have stepped up to take the gavel, Majority Leader Steve Scalise and Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan. But neither man seems to be bridging the divide within the Republican Party, and that's creating uncertainty over whether they can get an election done this week or at all so they can get back to work. Joining us now for more on all of this is NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt. Great to have you here. The chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee says we need a speaker now so we can fund Israel's Iron Dome. Is he right? I mean, how bad is this?
Well, look, just think about how the events of last week and the removal of Kevin McCarthy would have gone with this as the backdrop. Millions of Americans today are thinking about loved ones, friends of loved ones, their extended family, larger community who are in peril, have been in peril, were subject of this attack. That sobers the mind. That sharpens the thinking. And the kind of performative, the kind of goofy behavior that would be tolerated at peacetime or when the stakes were lower just simply won't be tolerated now. I know from the House Republicans I've talked to that this casts a pall over all that is being discussed, not just in the practical sense of you want the House to be ready to act and not have this hanging over it, but just how foolish it all looks when you think about the challenges that the United States and its allies face in a dangerous and uncertain world.
So we've heard Kevin McCarthy, after saying last week, no way, I'm out, I'm not interested, never again, now today expressing openness to returning as speaker. Is that true? And how would that play out?
So it's a little toe dipping, right? If you wanted me back, I would do it, says Kevin McCarthy. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but we have to remember what Republicans are confronting as they gather, which is they can't have a speaker unless enough of them that constitute a majority of the House agree on that person. So it's not like if you can get a majority of Republicans, if all it took was a majority of Republicans say, okay, we're going to back this person, and then we're going to proceed to the floor, and we'll have enough votes because everybody will fall in line. That's not what they're dealing with. They have to get an absolute majority on their own. Now, if Steve Scalise can't do that, if he is not able to get enough support to do so, or if what the Freedom Caucus members or the Gates Caucus, the subgroup of the Freedom Caucus, demands in exchange for their support is so great that Scalise can't do it, then you start a process of moving down the list. Could it eventually fall back to McCarthy? Maybe. I just don't see it as the most likely scenario.
In the meantime, Chris, new polling shows an overwhelming percentage of Americans, 71%, want a Speaker of the House who will work with Democrats. 58% of Republican respondents say the same. How do Republicans address this? I mean, right now we are hearing in the Republican conference like a burn it down attitude, my way or the highway. They're angry at Kevin McCarthy because he passed a CR with Democratic help. And the American people are saying, knock it off, work together.
So we have an absolutely insane way of choosing our party's candidates for office. Which is the primary election system that incentivizes all the worst kinds of behavior and all of the worst kinds of posturing. There are only about 45 or so districts in the United States, House districts, that are really competitive. In almost all of the other districts, the way that you win is to win the primary. And that creates an incentive for radicalism. And there are a lot of states that are looking at ways to reform this, and we are seeing primary election reform around the country. But as long as what is essentially 7% of the electorate has the same say as 51% of the electorate, you're not going to get good government.
That's pretty depressing. Thanks, Chris.
Sorry.
All right. We'll have you back tomorrow night with hopefully better news. Maybe a breakthrough, a miracle will happen in Congress tonight, and we'll have a speaker tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.